Hallo und herzlich willkommen zu einer weiteren Folge Witch on the Holy Night. Ja, wir haben in der letzten Folge die Mitbewohnerin von Aoko kennengelernt, mit der sie zusammen das Geisterhaus bewohnt. She had only known for sure the last year and a half. Und wir haben erfahren, dass sie offenbar tatsächlich eine Hexe ist, beziehungsweise versucht eine zu werden. But she had had a hunch for as long as she could remember. Make the choice and the day will come. It was little wonder that her morals and conscience had been stripped away. Aoko pushed herself back up. She was met by Alice's cold beauty and wordless gaze.
OK, アリス。来週中に決着をつけよう。それでいいんでしょ？ええ。青子がいいなら。
Aoko could not help but shake her head, feeling like she was hearing something similar for the second time that day. Even in the comfort of her own, she couldn't banish thoughts of that country boy from her mind.
じゃあ下準備はよろしくね。私まだできないし。場所は例の公園でいい？妥当な線ね。あ、でももう一軒の方は？そっちの方が急務じゃない？時と場合、森に変化があれば教えるわ。
After that brief exchange, Alice returned her attention to the books on her lap. Shop talk was over. Now they could return to their normal relationship as roommates. Aoko grabbed the remote and turned on the TV. Since Alice was busy reading, Aoko decided to tune into a variety show that had already started. Alice started to speak but suddenly cut herself off. One of her delicate hands raised to her mouth. She would always cut herself off the second she realized she was about to say something trivial. Sometimes her self-restraint would hit too late, and she would make a gesture like the one she was making now. It occurred to Aoko that the R sound a cute little roommate made just now was different from the wa she blotted in times past.
Nani?
Der Gesichtsausdruck. Ein bisschen, mir fällt gerade das deutsche Wort nicht ein, mocking. Ein bisschen herausfordernd, ärgernd, so. Trizen kann man gut sagen. Aoko turned down the volume on the TV, her intense eyes lit up like those of a mischievous cat. Ich finde ihre Augen so geil. Das Blau gefällt mir so gut, dass sie hatte.
どうということはないんだけど。ないんだけど？
Alice looked away bashfully, not knowing if she should bring it up or not. It was times like these that her expression carried a real warmth and surprising charm. If you could see her in this moment, Alice's father would have to admit that her name suited her perfectly.
今日帰ってくるときおかしなものを見て誰かに話そうと思っていたんだけど。
Aoko nodded, beckoning her to continue.
つまらない、本当に意味のないことよ。けどどう考えてもそんなことをする理由がわからない。人間ぐらいの大きな猫がひょこひょこ出前をする理由ってわかる？
Oh, Scheiße. Der arme Junge, ey. Der arme Transfer-Student ist, ich komme gerade nicht auf seinen Namen, aber der arme Typ, der wurde einfach in ein Katzenkostüm gesteckt und muss Essen ausliefern. For a second, Aoko thought Alice was trying and failing miserably to make a joke again. One would think that about anyone, really. But she seemed completely serious. Even if Alice's sense of humor fell flat for Aoko, the story already sounded more fanciful than Alice's unusual attempt at jokes. Aoko concluded that her roommate was talking about something she had actually seen.
その話には2つぐらい信じがたい部分があるけど、1つずつ論破していい？いいの。私もからくりぐらいは思いつくから。ただ理由がわからないから聞いてるの。わざわざ精巧な猫のぬいぐるみを着て出前のてんやものを届けに行くことってそんなに簡単かしらね。難易度以前にそれをやる人間の常識性を疑うけどね。
Alice nodded tentatively at her words.
まあ世の中いろいろあるから、私たちみたいなのもいれば、下界から遮断された山奥で暮らしていたやつまで10人十色よ。私だったら見かけたら声かけて理由を尋ねただろうけど。
Alice gaze drifted at that.
暮れゆく住宅街にさまよう出前猫か。背景が夕焼けだったらファンタジーだったでしょうに。で、今日の夕飯どうする？せっかく話が出たし、私らもてんやものにしようか。
Orko loved getting takeout, and her face glowed as she spoke. They had no hard rules for dinner, but if one of them was in the mood to cook, they made it a point to make enough for two. At the very worst, this meant entire weeks without dinner, but the two of them agreed that this was the system that worked best for them. Whether they found cooking to be too much effort or simply liked ordering out, nights like this one are a common occurrence, much to the chagrin of the restaurants of Misaki Town. Getting to the mansion meant coming all the way up to the top of the hill, the source of their disgruntlement.
時間は8時前。ギリギリセーフね。私今月がいいな。あそこの月見そば最近ご無沙汰だったし。
Ich habe so das Gefühl, dass ich weiß, was jetzt passiert. Und zwar wird jetzt eine Katze vor denen auftauchen mit den Essen. Und diese Katze wird der neue Mitschüler sein. The young student consequently laid out a stack of takeout menus, like she might find a deck of cards, and excitedly scanned for anything that stood out. Alice cursorily responded without spraying so much as a glance.
悪いけど、私夕飯済んでるの。
Oh. With those words, Aoko froze. All deliveries required a minimum of 2 items, so she was out of luck without any accomplice. Cruel society had decided it couldn't be bothered to deliver to a princess who only ordered a single serving of food. Dem Fall wie okay. Incidentally, the counteract orders from the top management the restaurants had declared. The minimum number of orders will be 3 starting next year. Orko and Alice were still in the dark to this fiendish change in direction.
この裏切り者だから帰ってくるのが遅かったのね。帰宅部、学校までバス徒歩込みで片道20分のあんたがなんで5時以降に帰ってくんのか考えるべきだったわ。
Unfortunately for Orko, she had been too out of it to even remember that she was the one who had fallen asleep.
ああ、ひどい女。そういう時は残された一人のためにお土産買ってくるのが暗黙の了解だったのに、私だってこの前の外食の時はアリスの分も買ってきたじゃない。
It was unknown how serious Orko was being, but she was visibly angry. She had already woken up hungry that morning, and from the time she was caught in the square and to know she had consumed nothing but tea. It was a small miracle that her stomach was not growling. She knew it was her own fault, but she persisted, wanting to get revenge, and Alice was scolding her earlier.
この前ってあれのこと？あなたが都心に出向いた時、夕食にお寿司を食べてきたのに、お土産はなぜかコンビニエンスストアのビニール袋だったって話？
Oh, Orko had kicked in a hornet's nest.
何よ、買ってこないよりはマシでしょ。真実は時に隠蔽すべきね。
Alice's eyes gazed and pierced right through her. Orko had certainly crossed the line by going on and on about how the sushi circuit around the restaurant while Alice ate a convenience store meal. But new things fascinated her, and she couldn't contain her curiosity towards the conveyor belt sushi shop that started popping up at the time. They were nothing short of miraculous. Even honesty can be a sin, given the right circumstances.
わかった。わかりました。じゃあ今回のは前のと帳消しってことでいいわね。
Alice went back to her book without so much as recognizing the question. The fact that she did not confirm it made Orko anxious.
仕方ない。今日は薬日だし、おとなしく台所に立って料理の腕を磨くとしましょう。
She stood up, announcing intent to no one in particular.
あ、聞き忘れてた。アリス、どこで夕食済ませたの？
Alice's hand frozen on her current page. She suddenly shut the book she was reading and stood up as if at wit's end. She walked across the drawing room with a book in hand. When she reached the door, she stopped and turned toward Aoko.
聞きたい。まあ、なんとなく。
Aoko nodded timidly, cowed by Alice's sudden vigor. Alice continued in her matter-of-fact way.
その猫が余ったメニューをくれたのよ。
And with that brief response, she left the room. Okay. Oh, cool. Ach, interessant. Ich gehe mal auf Archive. Okay. Gets the winter morning, a day in her life. Das ist Chapter 1, Chapter 1.5. Okay. Next episode. Episode 2 Lit Happening of Last Night. Okay, das gibt mir Code Geass, nicht Code Geass, Chaos Head Vibes gerade.
けど、慣れれば割と住みやすいとは思う。
Soujyuros sighed listlessly. He looked down at the winter schoolyard below, lost in thought. December was written on the corner of the chalkboard. He could not believe 10 days had already passed since he transferred to the school. The last vestiges of autumn had faded with the change of the month. The trees were all but barren, and the ground below them a mat of fallen leaves. Fourth period was classics. An elderly teacher stood at the lectern and rambled on. While he had finally gotten used to the classroom, he still had a long way to go to get up to speed in his classes. Lacking even the basic understanding most students learn in their early scholastic life, it was a battle for Soujyuros to keep up. Even if he was unable to grasp all of the content right away, he at least tried to memorize everything in the hope that he could make use of it down the road. Which is why losing himself in his thoughts was about the last thing he should have been doing. He would normally chastise himself for daydreaming, but troublingly, he was unable to concentrate in class today. Soujyuros could not place the source of his lack of concentration. It could not have been the winter in the city. It was much milder than in the mountains. Neither was his part-time job particularly tiring. He was not any more physically fatigued than the average student, so that could not be it either. Others might conclude that it was because the courses were boring, but that seemed off the mark too. Soujyuros did not share his classmates' opinions about their classes. On the contrary, he rather enjoyed his class time. No, his frame of mind was not to blame either. Trying to figure out what was wrong only made him more depressed.
いけない。こんなんじゃ気が散る一方だ。
He scolded himself and turned his attention to the chalkboard. The rhythmic ticks of the chalk were sending him into a slumber, but he somehow managed to resist the lullaby. Lullaby, nicht lullaby, lullaby. And yet he was still unable to focus on the class. Soujyuros reflected silently, as was his custom, and sighed inwardly. Deep down, he knew the real source of his agitation. The events of the previous nights were the only thing it could be. With a chime to signal the end of class, the teacher bowed and exited into the hallway. To see him off, the 30 or so students all stood up from their desks. The clock, which had seemed to slow dramatically around 11:30, now struck noon. The tension seemed to fade from the room all at once. The release from a difficult lesson. Was the start of lunchtime the highlight of school life? Misaki's High's cafeteria was not particularly known for its quality of food. Complaints that the quality was below that of a private school went unheeded. And the same unique flavors appeared on the menu each and every day. Private school prices coupled with subpar quality led the majority of students to opt for boxed lunches instead. Soujyuros class 2C was no exception. The boys must get as many as 10 desks into what resembled a long dining table. Conversely, the girls divided themselves into smaller tables of 2 or 3 desks with practiced ease and started chatting in their cliques. Not a single student wasted even a second of the precious lunchtime. Where both sides differed in method, they shared a common goal. Soujyuros was struck dumb by the efficiency of the transformation. Even after 10 days, he was unable to keep pace with the rest of the class and remained seated where he had sat during the previous period. The voice came from the large makeshift table dining near the window. Hosuke Kinomi was backing him over while leaning back in his chair, in a way that looked like he could fall backward at any second. He was regularly shot down by others in the class before for being lazy and crass, but his earnest nature kept him from getting on anyone's bad side. Though sometimes could be said for not being so forthcoming all the time too.
飯にしようぜ飯。俺さ、昨日店の残り物もらいすぎたんだよ。春巻きだよ春巻き。それを見た親父がさ、もらったもんは残すなってうるさくてさ。
It seemed his endgame was to find someone who would might take pity on him and trade him for something better. The two of them worked at the same restaurant, so he was one of the few people Soujyuros knew before starting school. He was also the reason Soujyuros was able to learn the true meaning of the phrase "can live with them, can live without them."
お、いいな。しずきも来いよ。今日は待ちに待った缶詰祭りをすっからさ。ついに結婚するのかよ。誰か冷静になった方がいいんじゃないのか。バカ、すげえ楽しいってきっと。そりゃパチモン臭いけどカニ缶とか食い放題なんだぜ。サバ缶じゃなくて。
マジやったー。俺も参加する。コンビーフは一人1個、それとも早い者勝ち。
お前な、一人で何個も食えるもんじゃねえぞあれ。うまいのは最初の1個だけだって。しずきたちが来るならノルマは一人7個に下がるのか。助かるな。
ところで木の実の弁当の中身、なんか缶詰より硬そうじゃね？
What the fuck? The boys really passed the time by making fun of each other's lunches, but today they were united against a common foe. A pyramid of countless cans stood in the middle of the table. They had all been taken from the pantry of a certain student's house, and the expiration dates on them had all been scribbled out with a marker.
よし、やろうども。各自毎缶切りの用意はいいな。食べるも地獄、残すも地獄。我ら5次元目の授業はないものと恐れぬ修羅となり、鉄の悪魔どもを平らげん。
What the heck?
食材は下町の何でも紹介、マーケット中山からの提供です。
ヒュー、バカも休み休みイエーイ。
What the heck? The boys united as one and hoisted the can openers into the air.
ほら、しずきも食べようぜ。缶切りならまだあるからさ。
いや、君らの弁当の毒味はごめんだって昨日言ったはずだ。それにその缶詰半分以上賞味期限切れてるだろう。
なんだよ、釣れねえな。
Quite an inexplicably excited group of guys. The real motivation seemed to be to spread the pain. But moved by the energy and conceding defeat, Soujyuros got up from his seat and joined them. And before he could...
私たちが釣り上げようかな。しずきくん、あんなの放っておいて一緒にどう？
Another interested party joined in the fray. A girl with short but stylish hair had called out to him. She had also tried to get Soujyuros to join the track and field club several days earlier.
いや、そっちも遠慮したいな。できれば。
He answered with a troubled look on his face. On the table was nothing but a pile of fruit Soujyuros had never seen before.
なんで？ パパイヤとか嫌い？マンゴーもあるし、ヤシの実だってあるし、内緒だけど夕張メロンもあるんだから。
The members of the fruit group pumped their fists in unison at the last delicacy.
待て、なんだヤシの実って。あれ食えるもんなの？
あ、マンゴー余ったら回してほしいな。
バカ、肉食え肉。そんなんだから貧弱な体してんだぞ。
Cedric couldn't keep track of all the voices flying across the room.
わかるのはどっちも破滅的だってことだけだ。
That being said, he found it difficult to refuse them outright. His tendency to accept others' goodwill at face value occasionally left him frozen with the indecision. Not accustomed to regular human interactions, he was unable to judge when it was or was not appropriate to turn someone down. Someone tapped the lost little lamp on the shoulder. Don't mind them. If you get involved with every idiot who invites you to do something, you will mess up your whole life. It's okay to turn them down, you know? And you guys, stop trying to lead this good soul over to the dark side. An appropriate loud voice echoed throughout the classroom from behind.
副会長。
So to turn around to see a boy a head taller than him. His long hair, while unkempt, had been brushed back, giving it an appealing, wind-swept look. His attractive features believed the contempt for the classroom his eyes carried. Unlike the perpetually dopey-looking Soujyuros, he was an extremely attractive boy, capable of captivating anyone who so much as glanced at him. In most cases, such a boy's presence would be met with awe and respect, however.
なんだよ、副会長様のお出ましかよ。
てめえらのバカ顔にはコリゴリだって学食に陣取ってたんじゃなかったのかよ。
へへへ。ここは見ての通り、ボンクラどもが集う貧民街でございますよ。王子はほら、A組の綺麗どころとカフェでお茶でもしてればいいじゃない。
またしずき呼びに来たのかよ。青子女子といい、飛び丸殿下といい。しずき、なんかヤバいことしちゃったのか。
What could you have done here?
しずきくんは校則違反しないじゃん。ちょっとそれ以外のルール破るだけで。ってことはやっぱり築地くん、青崎に振られてからそっちに走ったって本当だったのね。
Aozaki rejected him? What? They continued to give him a hard time. Shuji could not help but feel sorry for him. The class vice president, on the other hand, showed absolutely no reaction whatsoever. He glared at them with a bored look and simply raised his voice. You three should get some new material. Why don't you spend your time more productive for once, like helping with a special winter cleaning team? Yeah, you heard me. Only one student in the entire school is signed up for so far. Having all of class C with us would be a huge help. But I guess you want me and Aozaki to do all the work. The menacing growl in his voice contrasted greatly with the boy's well-constructed looks. Both Team Kent and Team Food's words were used like a fire being smothered. This was partly due to the fear of the boy, but mostly to the fear of the special winter cleaning team. Yes, the special winter cleaning team. Joining meant spending part of your winter break cleaning up the old school building and mountainous rear courtyard that had been neglected by the previous two student councils. It was a form of legalized torture that could potentially ruin 3 whole days of your winter break. And forget about any compensation in the form of extra credits. No, it was pointless volunteer work for a student council project. It was practically a miracle that they had found even a single volunteer.
いや、僕らちょっと体弱いんで、スミッチョで缶詰食べてますね。
私たちも貧血気味で、こうやって果物食べてないと死んじゃうっていうか、冬休みはもう予定いっぱいっていうか。
All the students but one scuffled away. That's much better. Lunchtime is best in silence. I'm tired of people complaining that you guys make even more noise than the freshmen. Get it together, you losers. The mob meekly scurried away. Soujyuro turned to join them, but as he did... Hold on, Soujyuro, you're with me. The hand on the shoulder held him in place.
だよ、生徒会応募。人んちのテーブルマナーまで指図してほしくねえよな。
Kinomi cursed him under his breath. To his friends, the second the vice president turned to go. What was it, Kinomi? Oh, you wanna become our second volunteer? Perfect, I'll make it the best winter vacation you've ever had. The Vice President must have heard everything Kinomi said because he gave a thumbs up before figuratively jabbing it in the side.
何言ってんですかあいつ。あれ自主的なイベントじゃん。いくら副会長だって強制はできないですよね。
The problem child of Class C laughed merrily. That was yesterday. The school has since accepted the president's proposal that council members must be able to forcibly enlist students for participation. And recommendations by the president and vice presidents are ironclad. Refusing them means breaking school rules in addition to facing Aosaki's wrath. Ich glaube, der zweite Punkt ist schlimmer. Which let me tell you now, I won't be able to stop.
それ事実上の死刑宣告じゃ。生徒会マジ横暴。
Konomi's terrified shrieking continued behind them as the vice president and Soujyuros left the classroom. What am I going to do with you, Soujyuros?
あんたも割と暇なんだな、副会長。
The two entered the empty student council room. Misaki had student council had the use of two rooms. One was a large office specifically made for the student council. The second was an archive room, once used as a preparatory office for math courses. As the latter of the two, the walls were lined with densely packed shelves, making an already cramped room seem even more confined. For this reason, it served more as a private refuge to the student council. The two students sat across from one another. Tobi married Tsukichi. He was the son of the chairman of Misaki's high school and the vice president of its school council. Like Soujyuros, he was in his second year and first met the transfer student a week earlier when the task of looking after him was dumped onto the student council. I told you to stop calling me that. People may as well call me the president's dog, the shit I have to take from her. As self-deprecating as his words were, he hardly seemed dissatisfied with the arrangement. He took a snack from his pocket and grimaced at it before taking a bite. The 100-calorie energy bar sacrificed flavor for efficiency, but somehow not enough to prevent him gnawing on it like a piece of jerky.
そうか。でも犬は良くないな、飛び丸。
Soujyuros sat in the chair with a concerned look on his face. What's wrong with dogs?
犬は良くないって言った。例えが違う気がするし、何より怖いぞ、あれ。
You grew up in the mountains and you're still afraid of dogs?
そりゃ大抵の生き物は怖いけど、犬は別格だ。徒党を組んだ野犬ほど始末に負えないものはない。足の速さも脅威だけど、何より執念深すぎる。坂だろうと追いかけてくるし、最後の一匹になるまで引かないんだぞ。
Soujyuros opened his lunch as he spoke. Inside the bright green cloth, 3 beautiful made triangular rice balls. Would you look at that? Look at what do you...
何が?
Oh, nothing. It's just that those are some special-looking rice balls you've got there.
それどっちなんだ?
I'm trying to compliment you, you idiot. Soujyuros was always confounded by phrasing that could be interpreted in multiple ways. Euphemism and subtle sarcasm were often lost on him. It was only on rare occasions like this one that he chose to confirm what was being said. Toimaru had come to suspect that Soujyuros had a very black and white way of seeing things.
ところで、その固まった小麦粉みたいなの、美味しいのか?
Soujyuros stared at the energy bar with a curious look on his face. It's not meant to taste good. You can try it if you want. People shouldn't hold back when it comes to the three base desires. Toimaru quickly finished off his bar, put another one on the table, and grabbed one of Soujyuros' rice ball. Setsu failed to notice the rudeness of the forced exchange and gave the preferred energy bar a try.
なんだか土を食べてるみたいだ。
Now you get it. It's what a journey's existence tastes like. Out of principle, Soujyuros labored over his energy bar, cringing all the while. He was both curious of the unknown and loath to leave something unfinished. Don't force your chef to finish it right now. The whole point of it is that you can eat it on the run, and while the flavor isn't that great, at least it's consistent. Anyway, never mind that. Are you getting used to how things work here?
ああ、飛び丸や青崎が気を使ってくれているからね。
Torimaru turned his eyes upon the ceiling and unable to handle Soujyuros' carefree smile. As absent-minded as Soujyuro might have been, his expression were nonetheless incredibly earnest. It was like poison to someone as self-absorbed as Torimaru. Now I know why Awazaki goes so out of her way to avoid him. He took a bite from the rice ball to steer himself away from such thoughts. Though now cold, the rice ball had managed to maintain its freshness, starting to... wait a sec, I'm the one that has your back, you know that, right? Awazaki told me you were too annoying to deal with.
なんでそこで君が怒るんだ?
Don't you get it? I'm the only one helping you keep your head above water. While Awazaki sits in the student council room digging up dirt on other students. I'm the one who gets lumbered with the crap jobs, while she gets to... Torimaru stopped himself, realizing how ridiculously he sounded. Soujyuro rightly so knew it was nothing to get so upset over. Well, whatever, I'm only here because she told me to be. Do you know why she stuck me with you?
副会長だからだろ。
Torimaru's handsome face went dark. Do you really think it's normal for a student council president to waste all of his time on a single transfer student? Oh, whatever, man. Trying asking her directly if he gets a chance, you will learn how she really is. He snatched another bite of the rice ball while grumbling under his breath. There it was again, rice grains that were just dry enough to be fresh and tender in the mouth. A morsel that betrayed its humble description, which must have been delicately molded by a master chef rather than haphazardly clumped into a bowl. Just the right amount of salt and the subtlest of soy sauce notes coming from the center. It doesn't just whet your appetite, it stimulates the desired centers of your brains and oh wow.
飛び丸、思ってることが口に出てるみたいだけど。
It's nothing, just color me surprised. Hey, Sonogo, what's this feeling anyway? It was only natural to acquire about the unexpected delicious bite. He had been nibbling around the edges and had yet to reach its center.
ああ、それはイナゴ。
No way. The vice president choked on his cough. He had assumed that Schulaltag would prefer earthy ingredients instead of seafood on account of his mountain life, but he never expected he would use grasshoppers. Damn it. You should have warned me first, but man, was it delicious.
ああ、今のは嘘だよ。
They looked eyes for a moment.
本当は鮭。いくらなんでもイナゴはね。
Alright, yeah, I knew that. Of course it wouldn't be a grasshopper.
ああ、こんな都会で身の締まったイナゴが手に。
As curious as those words were, Torimaru decided to let them go. Geez, Soujyuro, that's not something to joke about. You want me to hurl or
君
something?
が青崎の悪口を言うからだ。
Soujyuro closed his eyes as he continued to chew on his rice ball. Torimaru watched incredulously as Soujyuro made no attempt to hide his disapproval. Ich würde sagen, ich beende hier jetzt an dem Punkt diese Folge. Vielen Dank fürs Zuschauen und bis zum nächsten Mal. Ciao.